Well, next to a row that brings to mind Bill Shankly's old line about soccer being much more important than life or death, the row here is off the pitch, but it involves Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and that makes it very important indeed. Ian Keogh has the story.
They played underage football here at Windsor Park in Belfast for Northern Ireland. But tomorrow in Dublin, Derry-born Shane Duffy and James McLean will make their full debuts for the Republic of Ireland, following others like Darren Gibson, who have decamped south. Here in Windsor Park, the Irish Football Association are increasingly concerned. They believe their counterparts in the south are deliberately targeting and poaching some of their very best players. But it also poses a very big question. Just why is it that a growing number of Catholic Northerners no longer want to play football for the North?
There would be good footballing reasons to think that we are a much better prospect. I don't think it's as simple as that, though. I do feel that the sectarianism that's evident and has always been in the Northern game would be a factor.
There could be, the Roman Catholics playing for the Republic and the Protestants from the North. We certainly don't want that to happen.
FIFA, the world governing body, say that people from the North like James McLean can play for the Republic. They say it's a special case arising from the Good Friday Agreement.
I don't see it as an issue at all. I just see it as a rule that FIFA have brought in, and every country is obliged to make the best of that particular rule. I wouldn't get upset about it whether we lose a player or whether any country loses a player. That's the rules.
But this attitude hasn't gone down well with the IFA in Belfast. It lodged an appeal with the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne. It lost, and more recently, it's gone political.
And I think just the Republic are looking to widen their base, but in so doing, they're narrowing the base of players that are available to Northern Ireland. And remember, these are people who are born in Northern Ireland, who should be playing for Northern Ireland.
This is the real fault line, Derry. James McLean, Shane Duffy and Darren Gibson are all from this city, and they claim to identify more with the South rather than the Football Association in the North.
That there's an hostility even towards the IFA in the North from the nationalist community, and that in large measure has to do with the IFA itself. For as long as a football in the North is seen sort of as a Union Jack decorated a practice, then for so long it's going to be very, very difficult for nationalists in the North to relate to the Northern Ireland football team as their team.
The Northern Irish team that broke new ground at the 1982 World Cup when they beat Spain contained many Catholics. But something changed, and that change was best seen in 1993 when the North faced the South at Windsor Park.
The visceral hatred, really, that was evidenced that night, I think it shocked Jack. It shocked us that this hatred in 1993 still existed. There's a history that would account for a feeling young lads like James McLean would have, that they want to come and play football and they don't want to be associated with that.
The Irish Football Association, if you go back to the 60s, 70s and 80s, it was fantastic teams. We had Pat Jennings, we had George Best, they represented the whole community. In the 90s, they themselves would now admit they lost their way. They let the idiots take over. But the fans themselves decided to tackle this issue, and they're very clear that they want all the people who qualify to play for Northern Ireland to want to play for them, and they're going to continue with that work.
Trevor Ringland knows more about the issue of sporting identity than most. He's a former unionist politician, but he played rugby for Ireland during the 1980s.
When I was playing rugby, it was the most difficult of times in this island, yet we still managed and still wanted to continue doing that, and because we felt it was important, because we felt it was about building relationships and about maintaining relationships when others were destroying them. And I think that's what disappoints me about the lack of understanding both in the FAI and some of those young players, that the actual positive role that they could play in helping to build relationships in this island. James McLean could be a fantastic example right across a city that needs to undo a lot of the damage that it has done to itself in the past.
But given the divisions and the history, is it right for the FAI to recruit players from across the border?
Well, I will try to get any player that I think is good enough to play for the Irish team that I'm involved with. I don't see where there's any grey areas at all. If a boy knows that he can play and the player has the option, if we put the player first, the player can decide what country he wants to play for.
But there are issues here. Neil Lennon, a Catholic footballer, received death threats and bullets in the post while he was captain of the North. James McLean was subjected to abuse on social networking sites after he declared for the Republic. But the question remains, can the North of Ireland build an inclusive team when an increasing number of Catholics choose to play elsewhere?
The trend is towards one orange team, i.e. the Northern Ireland team for the Protestants, and a green team, the Republic of Ireland team for the Catholics. And this is reflects the institutionalization of sectarianism in the North, particularly since the Good Friday Agreement and the peace process.
Players, footballers at the end of the day will always go where A, they feel there's a chance of success, and B, where they feel culturally comfortable. And I think it's the cultural comfort that James McLean and people like that feel playing for the Republic of Ireland that is the key to all of this. And I don't know how you solve that problem.